Hi, I'm Peter Burlingame of the Self-Defense Initiative. Talking about lethal force, I've gone over when you can use lethal force if there's an immediate, unavoidable threat of death to the innocent. But I'd also like to talk to you some of the ancillary items regarding that. One of the big ones is, should you shoot to kill or should you shoot to wound? Let's examine shooting to wound first. Shooting to wound is something that you hear uninformed people saying. Generally, they'll say it about police when they're dealing with maybe somebody is wielding a knife. Oh, they should have shot the knife out of his hand, or they maybe should have shot him in the leg. There's a lot of problems with shooting to wound deliberately. And some of those problems are that, what are you going to shoot at? You're going to, shoot this out of my hand. That's a very small target that's moving, and there's a good chance you're going to miss. And where's that miss going? That bullet is your responsibility. So, that bullet, after it missed my hand because you couldn't hit the small target, may go on to hit an innocent person and injure them or possibly kill them. There's a potential that if you shoot somebody in the arm or the leg, you could kill them anyway. You hit the brachial artery or the femoral artery in the legs, that person could bleed out in just a few minutes. So is it really a non-lethal place to shoot somebody? But the biggest point is if you're shooting to wound, on one side of the equation, you're using lethal force. You're using a firearm. You're shooting it at somebody. That's using lethal force. But by deliberately aiming at a non-lethal area, what you think is a non-lethal area, you're saying that you didn't think the situation was that serious. You didn't think you wanted to kill the person, so you wanted to aim at a non-lethal area. Yet you're using lethal force. So basically you're contradicting yourself. So we do not shoot to wound. Does that mean we shoot to kill? Well, no, we don't shoot to kill. The bottom line is, if you're defending yourself against me, you're not at all concerned about my health. The concern is with your health. So you're not shooting to do something to me other than to prevent me from hurting you. We're worried about your health. You're shooting to protect yourself. So if I'm a threat to you, the reason you're shooting is to stop me from presenting a threat to you. Now, it may be that you just point your gun at me. And the vast majority of stopping people is a psychological stop where you present a gun and the fact that you're armed and look determined that you're going to use it, the bad guy says, I don't want to play, and he runs away. You never have to shoot the person. You don't have to fire the gun. The vast majority of self-defense uses of firearms fall under that category. A psychological stop with no shots fired. But you still used lethal force. You threatened me with a gun. Now maybe I persist and I come after you and you fire a shot and it goes past my ears and I say, okay, this is not fun anymore, and I stop, and you have stopped the threat. You fired a round, you missed, but you stopped the threat. Maybe you fire a round and it hits me in the shoulder. And I say, okay, I don't want to get shot anymore. I don't want to play. And once again, you've stopped the threat. Now I'm wounded, but that wasn't intentional. You weren't intending to wound me. That was just an unintentional result. But you stopped me, and so you didn't need to shoot anymore. Or it may be that I come after you and you shoot me and then you shoot me and you shoot me and I fall down and I bleed out and I am dead. That's acceptable also. You're using lethal force, and if you're justified in using lethal force, it's okay for me to be dead. It's okay for me to be wounded. It's okay for me to be okay. Once again, we're not concerned with my health. We're not concerned with the health of the bad guy. We're concerned with your health. You shoot to stop the threat. If death results, that's okay. If wounding results, that's all right. Shoot to stop the threat. What about warning shots? Should you fire warning shots? Well, the first issue with warning shots is we've got rule number 4, which is be sure of your target and what's around it. If I fire a shot into the air, where's that bullet going? It's going somewhere. And you're responsible for where it lands and anything it passed through to get to its final resting spot. So one of the problems with firing warning shots is, where is the bullet going? Another problem with firing warning shots is, have you just thrown away your credibility? Why are you not shooting at the person? Are you telling the person that you're not willing to shoot them? Hey, listen, don't come any closer. Listen, I'm serious. Boom, I tell you. Now what have I just shown you? That I'm not willing to shoot you. And sometimes your attacker may have experience with being shot or shot at, and he's not easily impressed. And if you've just fired a round off because you did not want to shoot him, you have just proven to him that you're a punk. Another problem with warning shots is, how many shots is it going to take to stop the bad guy? We don't know. And it may be that you fired that warning shot, and that was the one that you needed to stop the bad guy. I watched a video of a Filipino police officer who was armed with a 6-shot revolver, and he was dealing with a protest group, and they were coming towards him. He told them to stop. They persisted. He drew his revolver, stopped. They kept coming. Stop. They kept coming. Boom. They kept coming. Boom. They kept coming. Boom, boom, boom. Click, click, click. And they killed him. We had disparity of force. We had several hundred people against one police officer, so they certainly had the ability to cause his death or grave bodily injury. But he was unwilling to harm any of them, and they were certainly willing to harm him. So in general, warning shots are a bad idea. I won't say never use them, but in general, I discourage them. The last thing I'd like to talk about, is it okay to shoot somebody in the back? Can you justify shooting somebody in the back? Under what circumstances? When there's an immediate, unavoidable threat of death to the innocent. So, if I present a threat to you square on, would it be acceptable to shoot me square in the chest? Certainly. But what if I was turned slightly to the side? Do I present a threat to you when I'm in this position? Sure. So would it be okay to shoot me here? Yeah. Now, is there any magic line where if the bullet's on one side, it's acceptable? If the bullet's on the other, no, you have done something wrong? No. So, could I be in this position and stab you? Yes. Could I shoot you in this position and present a threat to you in this position? Yes. So, would it be acceptable? Could you justify shooting me in the back under these circumstances? Certainly. Or it may be a matter of you're protecting a third party, so I've got your wife or your child in this position. Would it be okay? Could you justify shooting me even though the shot would go in the back because I present a threat to a loved one or a third party? As long as it's an immediate, unavoidable threat of death to the innocent, you can use lethal force, and it doesn't matter where the bullets strike. Now, does it look bad if you shoot somebody in the back? Yes. That's why it's important that you understand these concepts so you can explain to the investigating officers why you did what you did. Because shooting somebody in the back does look bad. But if you can articulate, well, you know, he was attacking somebody and he was facing away from me, I didn't have any time, I didn't want to alert him I was there. Or he was running away and he was pointing a gun at me as he was running away. Now realize that modern day forensics can determine the position of a person's hand at the time the bullet punctured them, so if you're lying, they'll figure it out. All right, so those are a couple things I wanted to cover. We don't shoot to kill, we don't shoot to wound, we shoot to stop the threat. Warning shots are generally a bad idea, and you can justify shooting somebody in the back as long as it's an immediate, unavoidable threat of death to the innocent. I'm Peter Burlingame of the Self-Defense Initiative. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there.